Okay.
Just leave the recording be.
Because
let it be.
Everything can be edited.
Yeah.
Good point. So the viewers are probably going to listen to this.
Yeah.
In which case, you want to know what I truly think of you?
He doesn't think anything.
I truly think that's a cut.
You know, it's funny because we are going to put that in.
Anyway, so today is the 12th of the 10th, 2012.
Which
is nowhere near a palindrome. In fact, the next palindrome is impossible
kind of fancy.
because we're not going to get it for another couple of years because we cannot have a palindrome next year. It's impossible.
True. But we can have the 12th
Unless we
of the
make
12th
our
of the
new
12th.
calendar.
We can have the 12th of the 12th of the 12th. That's going to be exciting. And we won't be
No,
able to have
but
that
it's
for a while.
That's already happened.
No, the 12th of the 12th of the 12th.
Oh, no, then that's when the world ends.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Yes, just happens.
Yeah, we're going to
Anyway.
have some... There's an enormous amount of water that's just going to pour in out of some portal somewhere, and it's going to be higher than the...
No.
Everyone's going to have instant swimming lessons.
What's going to happen is someone's going to put a portal on the moon and we'll all get sucked into outer space.
Why not?
No,
okay, let's go
seal
there.
that.
Oh.
Like, seriously, NASA could just seal that. That would not be a problem
Seal.
for very long.
Introduction!
Okay, so now we'd have the intro music 10 minutes later after we should have had it. Okay, so as we've already pointed out, today is the 12th of the 10th, 2012.
And welcome to Explosive Combination.
Yes, today is our first
big
Explosive Combination podcast. Right now, we have no listeners. We have no subscribers.
So
nothing.
if you're listening to this, either you're a time traveler or you're amazing.
Well, at this present point in time, that would be pretty cool.
It would be pretty cool
That
if you're
would be
listening to
awesome.
it right now.
But people will be listening to it or what will be in the future for us.
But time is all in the same instant, really. So actually, people are listening to it
Yes.
right now.
Okay.
Time.
Yeah, we'll get into that at some other point.
Anyway, my name's Luke Hammond. I'm a first-year mechatronics student, and I'll be discussing confidence today. What about you, Chris?
I'm Chris, as you so blatantly pointed out. I'm
What's wrong with that?
No,
you
but
so
it's-
blatantly pointed out.
Yeah, it's just, and you, Chris. Oh, I'll just drop my glasses.
Well, I had to get the story moving somehow.
Anyway, so I'm Chris. I'm a... What am I? I am a human. No, I'm a mechanical engineering student and applied physics student. Ooh, so fancy. And you, my dear friend, are...
I'm Chris. Thank you, Chris. I am a second-year mechatronics and nanotechnology student, which is a lot of fun.
Yes.
We like robotic small things.
Yes.
Small robots.
Small
Tiny
robots.
robots.
Tiny little robots and a tiny little cell. They're going around doing tiny little things. That was Margaret, by the way.
Lots of
Yeah,
small
Margaret's
things
kind
make
of,
big
she's the
things.
fan.
Margaret's the
Our
fan.
only fan.
Hi, Margaret. Hello.
Today I want to talk about the EB Expo that I went to on the weekend.
Ooh, yes.
So, did either of you guys go?
No.
Yeah, no, you didn't go, Chris.
I didn't go.
No, I didn't manage to get along, so just
You
tell
didn't?
us what happened.
I forgot to buy tickets.
Yeah.
Yes, please do. Lead in. This
No.
is good.
Anyway, so what are you going to talk about, Chris? We'll introduce what we're talking about, so people
Well,
know
I want
what
to
to
just
listen to.
very briefly mention the warp drive that people are doing, just because this does have to be mentioned, and it needs to be mentioned repeatedly so that all the nerds out
Yes.
there go, wait, they're actually doing this now?
Yes, guys, they actually are.
I want to talk briefly about whether humanity as a whole throughout sort of our existence should be measured on our culture or on our achievements, because
Ooh, that's a good question.
it is, isn't it? I was
Yeah.
wondering that the other day, and talking to my brother, who's very much economics and commerce. He has a...
Judged on commerce.
According to America, the wall is going down the toilet.
Yeah, but I mean, currency is all different to one another.
Yeah, I know.
And then Luke and I are going to introduce a segment called First Impressions, so maybe it would be
Oh, yes.
more
Yeah,
interesting.
we talked about this.
We'll think of a funny name later.
Yes.
First impression.
I'll be doing Lord of the Rings Online, and Luke will be doing...
Dishonored. Yes,
Came out
I've had
yesterday.
literally 20 minutes to play the game.
Okay.
And
so,
yeah, that's about it for me.
So yeah, it's a gaming heavy episode.
It is. Oh, come on.
We love games. We
What
love
else did you do last
This
night?
is what happens when you get three nerds around a solitary throne and ask them to discuss things.
It's kind of like, do you have a girlfriend? No, I haven't built one yet.
I'm working on that, people. Wait. Just you wait.
No, but then you... Anyway, no way. We'll stay away from that.
Yeah, let's do that. That's
Okay.
now for just for.
So yeah,
for
the
episodes.
EB Expo was on over the, I think, 5th, 6th and 7th of this month.
Yeah.
So I decided to go along, asking Chris to come along with me, who decided not to buy tickets until, what, the day before?
8 hours before the expo.
8 hours before the expo. And obviously they were sold out!
Well, now I know. Now I know. You do have to buy tickets to go to expos. It's a valuable lesson.
Tickets to expos.
I did not know. I did not know.
Yes.
Anyway, continue with the expo. What did you see at the expo?
So, well, anyway, the expo was over 3 days. And I only went on, actually, yes, Assassin's Creed 3 was there, but I didn't see it.
What?
There was
it was hiding. it was hiding in the rafters with a little hidden blade, waiting to get to the next buyer.
well, actually, it was more like a 2-hour wait to see it.
Oh,
wow.
wow.
So that was, for some of the new games, it was minimum 2 or 2.5 hour wait to see them.
Oh, wow.
So, unless I was there in the line talking with someone with a pee bottle, it was unlikely that I was going to wait. I mean, I waited in one line just because it looked like a good game.
Oh yeah.
It's Zombi U.
Oh, Zombi U. Yes.
So, I watched a lot of people playing it. I thought I don't need to play this.
Yeah.
So anyway, one of the games that really caught my eye at the expo was a game called The Unfinished Swan. Now, have either of you heard of this game?
No, I haven't.
The Unfinished
Interesting title.
Swan.
Yeah, The Unfinished Swan. It's on the PlayStation.
Oh yeah.
I think it's only on the PlayStation, but
PS3.
Yeah, PS3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I just went back to my Battlefront 2 days.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm playing that tomorrow, actually. Massive
So-
competition.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it was on. They had it previewing on the PlayStation Move,
Okay.
and this is from the website, the description of the game, and it says the player is a young boy chasing after a swan who has wandered off into a surreal, unfinished kingdom, and it's a puzzle game.
My.
So
So what is it, like Swan Lake meets Portal?
no. It's really quite interesting. When you start the game, all you have is a blank white screen.
Ooh.
You can't see anything, or you see everything, but it's all white. It's all one shade of white. And what you do is you throw globs of black paint to reveal the environment around you. So you see then corridors, corners, traps, all that kind of stuff.
So it's kind of like throwing paint at the screen to actually get the
The
whole
picture of the surroundings.
Oh, wow. But do you have to keep doing this?
Yeah, you have to keep doing this as you progress through the levels so you can see where you're going.
That's really good.
I thought it was just an amazing
Very
concept.
Interesting.
But if you throw too many globs of black paint, the screen then becomes, you then can't see anything again because everything will be black. So you've got to throw the right amount of black paint and have the right amount of white surroundings so you can actually navigate the levels. It is a really cool game.
That also sounds like something that Connect would be quite good for. You know, exploration and a very physical action of throwing the paint.
Well, it wasn't more throwing the paint. It was more point and shoot the paint
okay.
with the move controller. But I just thought that is an amazing concept.
That actually is an amazing concept.
It's very unique. I didn't play it for that long, and I didn't exactly see where it was going, both storyline wise and walking wise. But I just thought it was an amazing idea.
See,
I have something to say about that. There's a whole bunch of games which are coming out at the moment, which are all themed upon the main character as a small child, like a toddler, or even just capable of crawling baby.
Right.
There's one that's coming out called
I hope that's not
The
a horror
Sleep,
game.
or Beyond the Sleep. Or
yes,
I think.
the well-mentioned artistic characterization, whereby you're a small child in a dark woods who slowly loses your innocence along the course of the game.
As a toddler, wow.
Losing your
You're
innocence
growing up quick.
toddler.
Oh yeah.
It's killing demons.
The usual.
I do think the
I know what
idea
you did as a toddler.
I do
I was a pirate king. I didn't even know the pirates had kings, but I was a pirate king, all right.
I do think the idea of having a toddler or, you know, an essentially powerless main character is a good idea because, you know, we have a lot of games these days, for
Which
example.
are run and gun.
Yeah, you know, Gears of War,
The high
Crap out of
walls.
everything around
Waste
you,
High
Mass
Walls.
Effect 3, COD, all those games. You know, you play
You're
big,
armed.
you play big
then-
burly men with lots of guns, and the whole idea is to shoot something.
And then
And- but
Amnesia
also-
comes along
And
You
then-
are
and then
starts to change
always
things.
capable
Or I'm not sure if there
of
are other games ahead of it.
overcoming an obstacle that you are directly confronted with. Whereas in these games, you cannot overcome those obstacles. You have to hide from them.
Or find a way around them.
The entire gameplay changes because all of a sudden you're not trying to just outmaneuver them.
Or
You-
outshoot.
or outshoot them.
Outgun,
Yes.
yeah.
You are really trying to outthink the
You're-
obstacles.
yeah.
Which
It's-
I really like. I really enjoy those
I
games.
like it
These
because
puzzle games are...
And they're terrifying!
Well, this game isn't terrifying. It's
Okay.
it's
It's a puzzle game.
It's a puzzle game.
It's Portal kind of thing. As in, like, that kind of movie.
Portal but nicer.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
so, yeah, not
there are
flying
traps and
inside.
stuff that you can't see, which is a little bit of nerve-wracking because
No.
you want to spin around and just throw paint on the floor. Am I going to stop? Am I going to fall into a giant trap? I don't know. So yeah, that was one game that really caught my eye.
that does sound good.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if it's finished yet or not because it's just kind of unusual. I couldn't really get a lot of info on it.
It sounds like something that will come out over, you know, and this is what online services have been really good for. You know, the rise of DLC, the rise of
Yeah.
quick purchasable games is really good for these kind of new and interesting ideas, which is why I quite like places like Steam and, you know,
Oh, yeah,
the
Steam.
Xbox Live Arcade, because they're really quite good places to get new and interesting ideas out there, you know,
Yeah.
without AAA development, because AAA development itself takes a lot of time and a lot of money, and, you know,
And someone
theref-
can just whip up a game
yeah, and therefore,
on their own and then whack it on Steam or something.
yeah, but if it takes a lot of time and a lot of money, you want it to appeal to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, small games like this have a very clear goal, you know.
Or
You're- you're paying $100
Simple.
to make this game. Like, I have no idea how much it probably costs. It probably costs more than that. Yeah, this is $100. Here, make a game. Though, you know, the small game without the massive budget can focus on its own goals. And I think AAA development kind of needs to go back into more of that. You know, less about pleasing the customer and more about making a point or going for your own
Making
ideals.
more niche games.
I wouldn't say more niche, but focusing on what you want to do, what the game itself wants to do, or the game developers want to do, rather than what, the customers will enjoy this. And I think, you know,
Yeah.
Well, what's
What will
happening at the
essentially
moment
raise the most revenue?
is that the consumer base for games is growing massively. All of a sudden,
they're
being a gamer,
expanding their
being a
audience.
nerd is being awesome.
yeah, it's
And so-
amazing.
Hooray for us.
And so, you know, game companies are really coming into their own, and there are tons of little tiny game developers which are doing things because they have the technology, they have the time, they have the knowledge to do it now.
And most importantly, they have the will and the ideas, the good ideas.
And also, in the US, they're considering making video games a form of artwork, which I think is completely valid.
Yes. Yeah.
If a book can be
I've heard of
artwork,
this
I mean,
argument,
I
yeah.
played Mass Effect 1. That is a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is not
Or-
just
or Bioshock
COD,
one
you
as
know.
well.
Yeah, Bioshock.
that.
I love Bioshock.
Apparently that is amazing.
I
I will play it.
You-
I swear I'll get it very
I
soon.
highly
It's-
recommend playing it.
Got,
It's
walking.
on my wish list.
To be fair,
It's come down in price, I think.
to be fair, I was,
Significantly after it came
I was
out.
playing it. I was playing it not that long ago because I only bought Bioshock recently, and I was playing it along with a friend. And, you know, we were just looking at the landscape, the architecture, the
one or two?
design.
The
Bioshock
architecture is
1.
brilliant.
Okay, right.
Yeah, I know. It's brilliant. It's a brilliantly
And the
designed
storyline
concept.
is so
yes.
intricate.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
There are
No, I'm not gonna
There are
spoil
points
anything.
in the story which just change your whole view of Rapture. And so if you haven't got Bioshock, it's like $20 on Steam at the moment. Get it.
Another thing I like about Bioshock is you can go through it in two ways. One, you can just be run and gun, completely ignore the storyline.
Yeah.
Another way is you go through each and every part of Rapture, finding the storyline, and you just piece more and more of it together and get a wholer or a more fulfilled story.
I love that.
And I just love how, no matter your playing style, it can appeal to it.
Yeah, because in Fallout you've got all these situations where they set up little storylines all over the place for you to go and discover.
But you don't have to.
But you don't have to.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can play through the game and you can go through and level up and get to the end, finish, blah, done. On the other hand, you can explore and there's these vaults, you know, and you enter into the vaults and then you piece together what happened in the vault.
Haven't
Oh
played
man, that's
Fallout,
terrifying.
Yeah.
No, that's not a spoiler.
Yeah.
That's just quite general. It's how
No,
you
I'm just
play it.
letting you know. I haven't played it.
But I love it because also, even with the main storyline, you don't, if you go off on a tangent and you just go exploring, you discover new things that contribute to the main storyline. And I really like those type of games that allow you to free explore
Yeah.
and discover new things and piece everything together.
Yeah.
Like Easter eggs or something.
Yeah.
But
Like-
but are more substantial.
But actually
yeah.
relevant,
Are relevant,
to the game.
yeah.
Yeah.
For example, we're coming back to Bioshock there. You know, throughout the whole game, you pick up all these different audio logs, and they all occur at different points in time. So it's quite disconcerting sometimes listening to
It'll be something in the past.
Yeah, it'll be
or
you know.
from- yeah.
So say
From
you're in the
other
current
audio logs.
Bioshock, like, you know, you'll pick up an audio log right at the beginning that's like, you know, just before the fall of Rapture, or you'll pick up an audio log towards the end saying, this critical moment in Rapture's history. You know, it's amazing. So yeah, interactive storytelling.
It's a very...
Yeah.
I really like the game, and I'm really looking forward to Bioshock Infinite.
Yes.
Which has an awesome mode.
An awesome mode.
What's it called? 1999 mode or 1989 mode?
I haven't heard of that.
No.
Well, what that
I haven't
means
looked into
is
this enough.
and I completely agree with this. Most modern games, it's too easy to survive.
Yes.
As in, I can take 15 bullets to the chest and 2 to the head and I'm fine, you know?
Just shake it off.
You pack a lot of HP and endurance, wear some decent armor, and you're fine.
Meanwhile, the enemy, you know, one shot to the left nipple and, oh, no, I'm dying.
The other night when I was playing Counter-Strike, there's a certain gun, you shoot them in the foot and they explode.
Oh, that's the really big sniper,
Yeah, the really
isn't
big
it?
sniper rifle.
Yeah.
So what
it called?
this mode
It's the green thing.
introduces, 1979 mode? Oh, damn it,
I don't know.
can't
Anyway,
remember.
it's a year mode.
It's a year mode. And what it does is it makes you killable as a main character. So instead of doing this kind of you save just in case you mess something up before you enter a dangerous zone and then you do this whole zone, instead of doing that, you actually have to be really, really good. In the same way that in Super Mario, if you hit something, you die.
So
Or you
permadeath.
shrink.
Or you shrink. And so you have to go and do the entire thing again.
Yeah.
That's what this introduces.
I'm starting to enjoy hardcore modes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or where you die and that's it. The game's deleted.
Yeah.
And as I talk a lot about, is Minecraft. And that, since the introduction of the hardcore mode, I've developed a new way of playing.
Many people have gotten into the hardcore mode, and I've read some things online about, you know, people set themselves self-imposed challenges. Like,
Yeah.
you know, what your
like,
challenge?
What I play is I play Minecraft hardcore mode and on the super flat map. And for those of you who haven't played Minecraft, super flat, it's got occasional villages and 3 blocks of dirt deep till bedrock and no trees or anything like that. And you've essentially got to survive. And slimes are spawning everywhere, which will hunt down and kill you unless you keep moving. And I raid the villages, trying to get supplies, and quickly move to the next one before it's overwhelmed. And then at night time, you got to find a place to sleep, otherwise the creatures will get you. So yeah, it's really enjoyable to play like that, and it doesn't really matter because you haven't built much.
Because, you know, quite a lot of the games these days, I think it's coming with the expanding user base. You know, the expanding customer base where, you know, a lot more people are starting to get into games, where games are starting to get quite a bit easier.
Because of the casual game.
Because of the casual game. Which, to be fair...
I am in many cases.
Yeah. No, be casual gamer, in my opinion, is fine, you know.
Yeah,
I look forward to the day when it's just like, oh yeah, what kind of games are you playing today? Oh, you know, I've got something from the App Store, I got something on my PC, you know, I've got a couple of games for the PS3. I look forward to that day, because, you know, that will be the day where games pretty much become like movies. You know, everyone watches them, everyone is involved.
Everyone plays them, yeah.
Yeah, everyone plays them. Though, the problem is with some people, like, quite a lot of the older gamers, as it were, are still quite used to the much harder level of difficulty.
Well, then they can just play on a harder difficulty, really.
Yeah, I know, but...
Or play a horror game.
But
that always wants me to put it on easy.
But I believe some games these days are making the mistake of, you know, not letting you access the harder difficulty before going through the really easy stuff. You know, which sometimes...
Yeah, no, I see what you mean, yeah.
Which sometimes, you know,
You can't just
really
jump
doesn't
to
help.
hardcore.
Because I'm gonna keep banging on about this because when I came through Bioshock, you know, I died a fair bit in Bioshock.
Oh, I love the.
When I came up to Big Daddies, I looked at a Big Daddy and I was just like, am I ready to take you on? I would go through my ammunition. I'd check, have I got enough ammunition to take him on? Have I got the right kind of settings to take him on? You know, all sorts of stuff.
You go through a lot of prep before you actually.
Yeah, you know, you think about
can I skirt around, or can I skirt around him?
Yeah.
Or do I have to confront this guy to get past him?
Yeah, is it really worth it taking him on? And some games these days are kind of like, you know, this is meant to be the hardest enemy of the game, and you know,
he's dead already?
You just breeze through him. Yeah, so
I really like boss fights. I love boss fights. Metroid bosses, I love boss fights so much. The types of enemies that are so massive and varied, and they've got one kind of weakness that you need to find out, and then you have to use that. And I really like it when they don't tell you what the weakness is. In some cases, they go, "Oh, go for the throat when it opens its mouth." Gee, thanks. You know,
that was fun experimenting.
Or, you know, they make it blatantly obvious. Oh, I wonder where the weak spot is.
That giant glowing orb.
Yeah.
Or in Dead Space is that giant glowing sack thing. I like it when bosses, because bosses are also, it's a chance to introduce a very different enemy that has a lot of different skills and a lot of different abilities.
Yes,
which you've got to counteract a
which
lot
you
of the
have
time.
to find ways to get around.
Yeah.
Can I say one thing? Game developers, if you're making, like, say, a Minotaur boss or a boss that charges, can we please not defeat him by making him run into a wall?
Yes, I know. I'm so bored of that.
Do something interesting. Make like, you know, force the character to set up a trap to trip him over. Something like that is actually interesting.
Yes, that would be
Or
good.
have it be able to turn the charge.
Yeah, or have it be able to...
To a slight degree. So you can't just sidestep and be fine.
Yeah, because, you know, I think everybody, whenever they enter a game that looks amazing, you know, when anybody enters a game and looks at a boss character, you know, it's doing that little clop with their field,
like
they're getting their head down, getting ready to get the arm up. You're just kind of like,
this is going to be.
Where's the nearest wall? Where's the nearest pillar? Come on, just get it over with.
Dodge.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Chris.
So another game that caught my eye is Zombi U.
Ah, yes, you were mentioning that before.
Yeah. This is exclusive to the Nintendo Wii U, and this was one of the ones I had to wait in line for if I was to play it, which I just thought, stuff it. Now it's controlled using the Wii U gamepad.
Ah, yes, I've seen that.
Now that's the touchscreen one. That's
cool. Yeah. It's kind of got a touchscreen and then normal controller buttons on either side of it, and
door barrel.
No, so you mostly use the gamepad as a normal controller, but they integrate it really well with the game. So one of the things it has that I think's fantastic is it's got motion sensors in the gamepad.
Oh, yeah?
And what it allows you to do is if you equip a melee weapon,
you
can whack zombies with it.
Oh,
so you actually swing and hit the zombie with it. Another thing it's used for is if a zombie's got you, you shake the gamepad to get the zombie off you, and you throw them off to the side.
I'm waiting for the situation where someone walks into a room, not quite able to see the TV yet, watching these young child playing, you know, on the Wii U, and then watching his young child shaking the game controller in front of his face, and the father comes in, "What are you doing, son? Have you gone mad?"
Yes. So the gamepad is used in conjunction with the TV screen as well.
Yep.
And you normally look at the TV screen to see what's happening. But say if you've got a sniper rifle and you want to snipe something, in comes the gamepad. And you use the gamepad as the zoom, as the scope for the sniper rifle.
That's quite clever.
Another thing you use it for is lock picking or trying combination locks on doors. So you look to the gamepad, or you go to a door, press the action button, the keypad comes up on your gamepad, and you press in the numbers.
I like that.
But what happens is, from what I've seen, it then blurs the screen.
Oh.
So you've got to put the keypad, or tilt the keypad back down, which allows you to look at the screen again, and the screen will come in focus to see if zombies are after you. Back to the keypad up, and keep going. So another thing you have,
that.
Another thing you have is a scanner. So you essentially use it as a scanner. and see if there's any items in backpacks or anything before you loot them. And another thing which isn't as exciting is the inventories on it as well.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Dead Space inventory pissed me off so much.
But the inventory in the game, you've got a backpack, and you don't automatically switch weapons. You have to take the backpack off, rummage through the backpack for what you want, then put the backpack back on before you change weapons or change anything you're holding. In the event that zombies are coming, you've run out of ammo. You've got to run away, buy yourself enough time to put the backpack down, rummage through, get a new gun or melee weapon, put the backpack back on, and then go hack and slash.
What a really good upgrade would be is like a
holster or a pouch.
Yeah, a holster or a pouch, which allows automatic equipping of weapons. I think that would be really good.
That would be.
So, and the setting of what I've read, I think this was on the website, the player controls a random survivor who must attempt to survive a zombie apocalypse running amok in London. So that's basically the setting. So it's not really an inventive scenario, but the way they're incorporating the gamepad, I think's ingenious.
I do hope the little Wii U gamepad thing will be used for much more stuff, like as you say, because that stuff's genius. You know, actually making the character, you know. So, you know, if you're going to go from a door, if you're going to try and lockpick something, or you're going to try and do a keypad, you know, the screen defocuses and you're walking on your screen. So, you know, that adds tension. That adds, you know, is there a zombie around the corner? Is something coming in? You know, I'm sure that there'll be quite a few people on the first time who do that will die because, you know.
Yeah, you don't know what's happening.
You don't know what's happening. It's like, oh, yeah, there's no zombies around. It will be fine.
Like in most games at the moment, if you go to unlock a door or something, the game pretty much pauses around you. The zombies won't attack you, they'll just stand there.
Yeah, you swim down to the bottom of a pit.
To unlock something, the game pauses.
Unlock, and then you pause. I went to go and I made myself some tea. I got some Tim Tams. I watched an entire video. Came back down. Oh yeah, my character's still holding its breath underwater.
Yeah, but the game essentially pauses for you to do something, and
which I don't like because I really like multiplayer.
It detracts from the realism.
I love multiplayer games, and you cannot pause in a multiplayer game.
No. Yeah.
And I like not being able to pause in a multiplayer game. So I like it when...
I don't like it when you need to go to the toilet and you're in a multiplayer game.
Well, yeah, but then you can both pause at the same time and then the game pauses. It doesn't Dead Island.
I was thinking more like online multiplayer where AFK headshot. So put a grenade on their head.
Or in the case of Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, which I play, you know, I got to go do something, pause the game, get swarmed by enemies.
Yeah.
You know, come back, everyone's shouting at you, why are you doing nothing?
What? So another game I got to play at the EB Expo was Borderlands 2.
Yes.
Now, from what I could play, I mean, I didn't have enough time to go through any of the storyline missions.
I played a bit of Borderlands 2 myself, but what were your impressions?
To be perfectly honest, it seems a lot like the first one. But that's not taking into consideration the storyline or really the classes. Because I wasn't playing it that long, I didn't know what class. I think I had the Gunzerker.
Oh, yeah?
And I was just running around shooting stuff because I wanted to find something and I wanted to kill it with a gun. So really that was all my test drive of Borderlands 2. But from what I can see, the gameplay is quite similar to the original. I can't speak for the storyline or any of the other more intricate mechanics because I wasn't playing that long.
I'm a big fan.
I enjoyed Borderlands 1 though.
I'm a very big fan of Ratchet and Clank. And Borderlands 2, the gameplay I was watching, it looked as if it was kind of Ratchet and Clanky in that you went around with completely ridiculous, sort of flamboyant weaponry, and you just went crazy.
It depends on your playstyle.
Is that how it is, actually?
Again, it depends on your playstyle and what type of character you choose. For example, in Borderlands 1, I chose Mordecai, who, for those of you who don't know, is a sniper. And so the weapons I would start off with sniper rifles, I would be doing long-range shots, I would be doing stealthing around and taking people out that way. So it's not all just big brutes running through killing everything. At some stages it is like that, but it all really depends on how you prefer to play the game. It's how you play.
I do quite like the kind of archaic humour within Borderlands and Borderlands 2, in fact. Because, you know, one of the best bits, the very opening sequence, you know, you have the introductions to the character, you know, for the first Borderlands, you got Mordecai as the hunter, what's his
Lilith as the...
Lilith as the siren, what's his face as the commando, nobody cares about the commando, and Brick as himself. in Borderlands 2, you basically get the thing, you know, Axon the commando, what's his face as a siren, I'm missing it all up. You know, you got
Gunzerker.
You got the Gunzerker, and you have Zero, and you have Zero, the assassin, as a number. You know, so
yeah,
I didn't see that.
Doctor or the hunter guy who introduces it, the sort of part cyborg guy. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
I love that bit.
You know, and Borderlands 2, from what little that I have played, and to be fair, it's quite a little. I haven't even gone to the first major city yet.
You don't get much of the storyline to it.
You know, it's actually got quite a good archaic sense of humour. You know, it's quite a fun place to be in, and I did have played a fair bit of the first game, and my major problem with the first game was the lack of variety in not only the scenery but the enemies. You know, besides that,
I see what you mean.
The core mechanics were quite solid. You know, it was fairly skillful. Over time, you would build not only skill of using your own weapon, but also skill in learning how to use the abilities and traits you unlock.
Yeah.
You know, learning what kind of stats to go up to. You know, Borderlands is very much a game where you find your stat tree and you stick to it.
It's a kind of RPG.
It's like character development.
It's your character development, and over time you learn about how to use your character properly. In Borderlands 2, a lot of that comes back, though. You know, there's more guns, as the developers have said a lot.
There's bazillions and bajillions because they're randomly generated.
Yeah, and there's a bazillion and bajillion.
Number, though, but it's a really big finite number.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you've got, you know, end to the 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 end.
And there's a bazillion bajillion times that it's been mentioned. Though
it's an interesting idea, though.
It is an interesting idea, and I do quite like it.
Yeah.
But it also, with Borderlands 2, you know, there's much better variety. Say Borderlands 1, most of the time you're stuck in a desert. Borderlands 2, very first place you start off in a tundra. And I thought, oh, this is going to be great. Though going online later on and looking at some of the other environments, like, you know, you come back to the desert, you have wild, lush plains, you have volcanic areas, you know. It looks more diverse than the first, as well as, you know, there being more interesting things to do. Though Borderlands 2 is very much a game about, you know, it's a game for friends, you know.
Yeah.
The ideal setup for Borderlands 2 is, you know, you have 4 friends, each person kind of plays tiddlywinks to choose whatever character they want. You know, there's the inevitable argument over who gets to be the sniper / assassin because he's the coolest character.
It's always the coolest.
I'm saying, what? Who here would choose the assassin?
Yeah.
See, every one of us would choose the assassin.
I think it has, the assassin has invisibility too.
Yeah, he can turn invisible for small amounts of time.
I like invisibility. Hiding. Stab!
Anyway, I'm long range.
You know, it is one of those. I like long. It is one of those games. Like I haven't played myself that much, but I have a friend who owns the game, and he and 4 of his other friends, you know, bought the game. They all discussed among themselves. They choose their characters, and they went for it. And from as far as I can tell, they're having a brilliant time. So, you know, Borderlands 2, good game to have with your friends. Yeah, I do feel slightly excluded. You know, just by myself, doing nothing, rubbing 2 sticks together in the corner. Am I allowed to play it? No, you don't know how to snipe.
Another thing I found in Borderlands 2 was that there was a lot of walking involved and not a lot of action at one stage. I was just walking, trying to find something to shoot, and nothing was coming up, which was kind of irritated me.
I'm not sure if that's more of the expo, because you probably didn't start right at the beginning, did you?
No. So I mean, I was walking for a long time, and it took me ages to find an enemy, and then I was at the end of the screen, and I had to walk all the way back. So anyway,
yeah. So
it might have just been the section I was in, or something like that. But it did irritate me a bit.
Because from what I played, which was the beginning, you know, it was a fairly consistent path. You know, there was plenty of places to explore. There was a fairly consistent path. You know, you're probably meant to go this way, you guys. Yeah. just a bit of a hint. Head down that valley.
I love it when they do that. Like, they give you, this is your starting point, okay, and you kind of have to go in that direction, and then you have a valley. Yeah. There's no other way you can do this.
Yeah. And the game is just like, you can explore any way you want. It's like, yeah.
So long as it's within these confines. Another game I played, the new Need for Speed Most Wanted.
Ah.
Now, from what I enjoyed playing it.
Yeah.
I will confess I enjoyed playing it. It seems to be very similar to the other Need for
Well,
Speed
it's a
Most Wanted
racing
games.
game. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
It's one of those franchises, each
it's
game is
racing,
an improvement on
racing's
its
racing's
on the
racing.
own.
Yeah, but one
Hey, if
thing
it ain't broke, don't fix it.
one thing what I mostly enjoyed about the game was smashing into other cars head on and watching the slow mo. And just watching the cars completely deform.
Oh, do they actually have deformation?
Deformation, yes.
And crumpling. Oh, that's cool.
But it gets to the point where it just respawns you then, so you completely write off the car.
Trust us. To engineers like us, deformation and the damage physics in a car game.
Deformation is ecstasy.
Yes, it's just awesome.
You
They modelled that. Oh,
Yeah.
can you imagine the equations? Oh, yes.
and you know, you
Settle down there, Chris.
I'm sorry, but I'm just imagining parabolas now. I'm
you know,
going there.
you see the engineers get to the end of the
Oh,
game.
God, curves. Oh.
Stress, strain.
You know, they get to the end of the game, we get the fastest car, and it's like, okay, where's the other fastest car I can find?
What can
We
I
spin
smash?
them in opposite directions
Yeah.
like the Large Hadron Collider, and then boom!
Oh, we got a wheel. A piston.
Oh my gosh, my car's upside down. I didn't know you could do that.
Higgs boson.
Come back, come back.
And that's how the Large Hadron Collider was formed. Moving on.
But overall, my favorite game at the Expo was Just Dance 4. Now,
Really?
okay, gameplay. Okay, the reason for this.
Yes, okay.
This is the
so
only
you
reason
have
for
to
this.
justify yourself.
This had better be a good reason.
Yes.
Yes, because I find pretty much there's very little more amusing than watching the cast of Star Wars and Call of Duty
No!
dancing to Call Me Baby.
Oh, no, it's that one. Oh god, I saw ads for that, and I thought you can't do that. They'll never do that. There's no way that they will make a
No,
game.
it was just cosplays. No.
Stormtroopers.
No.
Dancing
The
on
game
screen.
didn't have it. No, that wasn't on
In
screen.
real life?
These were cosplays who were dancing to it.
And you told me I couldn't go in costume. You're like, no, you can't go in costume.
No,
And
I
there's
didn't say
cosplayers
that.
Yes,
I
you
said you
did.
don't have to go in costume.
No, you told me
But
not to.
I did not. That's a lie.
No, I
Anyway.
said, I'm going in costume. And you're
There's a
like,
fierce
no.
marital
I said, yeah,
discussion
sure, I
going
would
on
do
here.
it.
You said, please don't.
I did not. That's a lie. No, I love cosplay. But I just found that hysterical. So, Star Wars cast and Call of Duty dancing to
any
Call Me Maybe.
Twi'leks?
It's just... sorry?
Were there any Twi'leks? I love Twi'leks.
I don't... Wait.
Twi'lek. The
Oh.
colored humans with the
Yes,
lecky-
sorry, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry, I completely forgot that for a second.
Wait, so
Yes,
you were
there
talking
were.
about the occult there for a second.
No, but yeah, it was hilarious.
Can I admit, I do own the Just Dance games, or should I say more accurately, my sister owns the Just Dance games.
Oh, come now. You know you love it.
They're there.
No,
they're
no,
there.
I
How
do.
fun are those games? If you get the right group.
Yeah, the
they
games are really
awesome.
fun because
With
you
enough
know,
alcohol, they become fun.
The SingStar ones, not so much, but
My ears, they burn.
yeah.
They're bleeding.
no, but
the
just
rock
yeah,
stuff and dancing. What's
Just-
that thing called? Not Dance Revolution. There was an old game which I don't know. Have either of you seen Video Game High School?
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, I've been watching
Yeah.
it, yeah.
No, it's good, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
It is really good. Jenny Matrix and main character. They both.
Wait, what's his name?
I don't care. They both.
Brian.
Brian, that's it.
Going for the women, I say. Say no more.
Anyway, and so what's the game that they?
I can't
play?
remember.
It's basically
but
like
anyway,
DDR.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, anyway,
Well,
so,
they're
Yeah.
fun. They're really
Yeah,
fun.
those kind
anyway.
of dancing games are great if you've got a bunch of friends around. You know,
who's
don't
willing to make a
don't-
complete fool of
yeah,
themselves.
don't do
Alcohol,
it if
marshmallows. You
don't
need
do it if
alcohol,
your
believe me.
ego
You need
is a bit
marshmallows.
fragile. You know, if you're sitting at home, kind of like, what are people saying about me? You know, stay away from the games. Kind of why I just kind of go off to the side whenever the Dust Dance gets booted up. They're really good games. If you've got a whole bunch of friends around, you want to have a laugh. Put on Just Dance or something like that. You know,
Anyway,
a
so,
whole lot of
In
people.
hardcore mode.
oh, no. just watching the moves. If you had no idea, because some of them you'd look at and you think, what the hell is that trying to get me to do? Right leg does not go behind head.
I only
Turns out it
have
was left arm.
one leg. What?
So anyway, so there were quite a few cosplayers, quite good ones as well, and some not so good ones.
I always think
Not
that
so good ones like
I always think that
SpongeBob.
cosplay is kind of the levels. You kind of start off with the levels of the pre-bought cosplay, which is it's fairly decent.
Yeah,
but
when you see them, you're
No,
like,
it's- you bought
that's
that.
not cosplay.
Yeah,
you know?
it's-
if you're going to do cosplay, you make it yourself.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
just do. There's
Yeah.
no if buts or maybes about this.
You do it
make
yourself, you do it properly.
Because that's the point. You know. You
Then
put your
we
love in
get
it.
into the interesting stuff. For
Yeah.
example, the lower.
We had a GLaDOS.
Well, you had a GLaDOS.
Yeah,
with the-
decently done GLaDOS.
Oh, I've
The
seen a picture.
half face mask
I've seen the
GLaDOS
half-
thing with the glowing.
Yeah, I've
that
seen
was
that.
quite
That is
impressive.
So you have the cosplayers who are like, on the just kind of starting level, and
You
Pro-
missed a
pros to
step.
you
You
guys.
missed a step.
what?
Cardboard and paint.
The just starting level.
Okay, those are just.
Yeah,
they're
that's
terrible.
prototype level.
Yeah.
Prototype.
Pros to you guys. I think what you're doing is amazing.
Oh,
at it
I love
and
cosplay.
I-
I love
at
it.
it.
I
Get
personally
there,
have never
you
been
know.
that into cosplay, though I do think the guys who
You
are,
get into it.
I think the guys who are, power to you, go for what you want. And then you have
Kind
the
of like
stuff.
gay rights, power to you, cosplayers.
Yay!
There will be a day when cosplayers are allowed to marry in this country.
They'll amend the law, and our fashion for just walking on the street will be cosplay. Actually, that's pretty. People do that around uni all the time.
It is
So-
university fashion.
Yeah, I mean that is university. How many onesies have we got? Yeah, we had a photo. I had a photo shoot with a Pikachu and a Cheshire cat yesterday.
I
That was
saw
awesome.
that. It was
I know.
slightly creepy
Where
yet
was this?
hilarious
It
at
was
the same.
awesome.
You had left at the time. You weren't there.
Bugger. I must-
Um,
right,
Look,
my lecture.
can I just bring you on to the final level of cosplay, or as I like to call, the handcrafted cosplay? Which
No, but like the good handcrafted.
Did you seriously
no,
just
no.
do that in 2 steps? There are more steps.
there's more steps in between, but so now I'm differentiating with 3 basic steps. The bought, the kind of made, and the handcrafted. And the handcrafted stuff. When you look at it, oh my goodness!
Like
you,
some of the
you
big
guys,
daddy, like some of the
Yeah.
big daddy
Yes.
suits, or
Oh,
the big
man.
sister one.
The big
Yeah.
sister.
Have you seen the big sister suit?
I don't think I have seen the big
Oh,
sister suit.
it's
I-
pretty much a replica.
I really like
It is impressive.
the Warhammer cosplays because sometimes
yeah.
they just pull them off so well. The chaplains, the female chaplains,
Yes.
get it right.
And to me, guys, you're what makes the expo interesting.
Yes.
You
Absolutely,
come
yeah.
along, you see the games, you look at some of the cosplays, and then you find those cosplays that just make your day. Like I remember seeing, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
I saw a group of about, I think, 5 people it was, and the best part was one of the guys who was doing the cosplay, because they're all doing the characters, and the guy's son, who was like quite young, was doing Aang. And he had the like little shaven head and the thing on it. And you just look
So
at it, they were
cute.
doing poses together. It was amazing. And another
That's good.
one of my cosplay
Adorable.
moments. I went to Supernova. I actually had a stall at Supernova. Funnily enough.
Really?
Oh
Yeah, Sydney Comics Guild. Free plug.
Ah.
One of the other cosplay moments I had was
sponsor us.
yeah,
We need
maybe.
more views.
one of the other cosplay moments. Do either of you know Silent Hill?
Yes.
I've heard of it. I haven't played it.
Well,
Yes.
yeah.
You know the character Pyramid Head,
Yes.
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 and
Yes.
you know the sexy undead nurses kind of thing.
Yes.
Somewhat. Yeah.
Yeah.
no.
I saw these two
God,
people.
you.
I saw these 2 people together, and I weren't sure if they was dating, but it was one of the cutest moments I've seen, where this guy dressed up in this bloody pyramid head costume, like really quite good quality, ragged,
Yeah.
dangerous, though he couldn't quite see where he was going, and his friend, who was dressed up as the nurse, was leading him by the hand. So it was
that's
like
cool.
it's like one of those Japanese
So
games where
sweet.
sweet Japanese games where like the kid leads the girl along the path, except it was done in full horror costume.
That's
and I
cool.
was just like, that is both surreal and so sweet at
It's
the
like
same time.
like essentially Big Daddy and Little Sister.
it's like that
Except-
not really.
Anyway, no, but you get my.
They were old enough to be dating.
Okay. So
It was
It
just
kind
one
of-
of those moments.
So anyway, watching the dance, that Just Dance 4, it got me thinking, or watching the cosplays Just Dance 4, I was wondering, what would I cosplay as? And I have no idea. I have no idea who I could go as.
There is a drawing or painting.
I could go as a drawing.
Drawing and painting called Shrapnel. It's a
Sounds
science
painful.
fiction drawing, and it is a woman in a spacesuit.
Mhm.
Well, I'm not a woman, so I can't wear
no,
that.
it's irrelevant.
Oh, we can change that.
The spacesuit is the interesting bit, and she has a samurai sword, which is also kind of like a laser and a gun. But the spacesuit is so interesting, and it has these two hexagon, I don't know, power generator or wheels or something like that on this sort of a massive, almost armored suit, and it's very cool. That's what I would cosplay as. Very cool.
Well, that brings me to my next question.
Maybe be a character.
My question for you guys: who would you guys cosplay as?
If it was a character,
I'd say a character out of a video game or a movie. Who would you cosplay as? Because I've been thinking about it. I have no idea who I would cosplay as. I mean, I'd love to carry a portal gun, but I'm
making a portal gun is difficult.
Yeah.
Well,
you can buy them, but that's kind of cheating.
See, there is one thing I do kind of like. Of course, I do quite like the steampunk etiquette, and the steampunk man.
We're all steampunk,
yes,
but we
we're
have to
all
drop
love
that. No,
steampunks.
aside from that, just drop that and
take away the
something
steampunk
else.
aesthetic.
Yep. And that's something else.
Yeah, that makes it difficult.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So I was thinking
that
Big
does
Daddy.
make-
I could go as. Just.
See, there isn't really one character in particular I would like to cosplay as, because
I've got one, Gerald, The Witcher.
Oh.
Him. I love his clothes. That tattered, flamboyant flaring. In the Middle Ages, there was a group of people called the Doppelsoldner, which meant double pay men. And what they were hired by kings and lords and nobles to fight sort of right at the front, and that's why they were the double pay men. They had their broadswords.
Oh, because they would be paid.
They would be paid double, but they were in a lot of danger.
Yeah,
and
they were good, really good, and they wore these flamboyant, feathery hats that were like a meter wide.
Kind of
I love that style.
I've seen some of the pictures of that, and apparently these guys were like some of the first professional mercenary units.
Yes.
That really did well off these guys, and you could imagine back in the Middle Ages.
You were rich, very rich.
Yeah, and if you didn't, you didn't quite make the cut. No, but
would get the cut. You'd get the cut.
You would
very
literally
cut from the
get
team.
the cut.
Yeah. But you could imagine some of these people's terror seeing these guys, dressed flamboyantly but wielding these two-handed swords.
Enormous swords.
Yeah.
I mean, this was not a case of functional. This was just they had massive swords, and they were a sight to behold because they were these fearsome, ridiculous people that were just.
Yeah.
I'm saying,
they were very
in video games these days, there's very much a tendency for some, especially in Japanese games, for some of the main characters to wield these ridiculously big swords. Back in those days, a sword of proper size would weigh something towards 7 kilograms or something, and
Actually,
you would literally use it to crush the opponent.
That is things like a bastard
Another
sword.
thing is when the balance into the hill comes
Yeah,
in.
because I have a wakizashi, which is 780 grams, and that's 68 centimeters long.
Wow.
So it's a long sword, but it's very, very light. And I
Made
have
of
a
aluminium
katana,
foil.
which is only just over a kilo, which is good.
See, because those kind of weapons are more focused on actual cutting, rather than
They're designed to. You aim at a place, and that's where you hit.
Yes.
If you don't hit there, you don't really do anything.
Yeah, and the reason those don't have that much weight behind it is because they're very integrally strong because of the way they make it is by folding different types of metal onto each other. So not only
just constantly
Yeah.
fold.
And they really care about
and not only
cross section as well. They actually
Yeah.
thought about the cross section of the blade. And
because they use, from what I've heard, they use two different types of metal. They use a very a kind of elastic metal, so one that can bend and move, and yet also at the same time a very strong, tense metal. So the one that's rigid, that gives it an excellent cutting edge.
Yep.
And, and it gives it an excellent cut.
Because
Though Western blades, on the other hand,
were just one thing. Most
were
of them
kind of
just
just cast.
they were built from the one steel. Whilst they would have an edge, most people under the misconception that they'd cut straight through an opponent. It was more like a cut and then a crush, from the sheer weight.
Yeah.
Swords back in those days, especially medieval swords, were mostly used for
We're talking
crushing.
post-Viking era here.
Yeah, post-Viking era. They were not really that good at cutting. They were very good at crushing the opponent.
Yeah.
Might as well just have a battle axe or something.
And also what became very popular was just stabbing.
Yeah.
That they would things
then-
like the
then comes
gladius in the
into
Roman era was
The era of the
predominantly
yeah, the era of the rapier, because
That's it, rapier. Thank you.
because eventually
we all fence, don't we?
I haven't fenced.
Oh.
No.
I have fenced, however.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, the rapier was kind of like kind of revolutionary because instead of
Yeah, but the rapier was also very fancy. It was more of a cavalryman's weapon rather than like.
And now it's
the,
just
the
decoration,
cavalrymen,
really.
the cavalrymen actually used
Now it's
saber.
decoration.
Yeah.
The cavalrymen actually used sabers. The rapier was
They're
more
very,
of a lord's
they're
weapon.
very similar design though.
No,
no.
absolutely not.
Really?
No, the
Okay.
rapier is
One of them's which one's
very
slightly
long and
curved?
thin.
Very long.
The saber is a lot thicker and designed more for slashing.
And,
right, yeah, sorry.
See-
sorry. Please forgive my.
A nifty thing I learned about cavalry sabers was back in those days they used to have a cord attached to the handle, and you would tie the cord to your wrist.
Yeah, so you did not lose the sword.
Yeah. No, but what they would do is when they charged, they would stab someone with their sword as they came through, let go immediately, and then keep on charging past. Therefore, the momentum of the horse and the momentum of their movement would
rip them off
make
the horse,
would make
yeah.
the rope tense, literally rip the other guy in half, and bring the sword back to them. So they got quite good at doing that. Meanwhile, the rapier was very much a lord's weapon, whereby if you were attacking an armored opponent, you could slip in between those cracks if you were good enough.
Yep.
Which is that's getting more towards the obsolescence of armor, of metal armor.
And also the idea of sport,
The idea of
where the rapier started coming in for a lot of sport.
and to be fair, fencing is fun, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's
It's-
brilliant.
it's
I'd
I
love
think
to
it's
give it a
wonderful.
shot. I would love to give it a shot.
You have to trust me.
Absolutely.
There's nothing quite like the rush of being in the middle of a fencing pat. And, thinking what's the opponent thinking? What am I going to do? How am I going to move my hand to get that next extra point, the next few centimeters just to get him?
It's very different as well to, say, arnis, which I do, martial arts, which is also a weapon-based sport. But it involves a lot more misdirection, a lot more movement, a lot more footwork.
Remind me never to fight you.
With fencing, it's very much one-on-one. It's very tense, and you move, but it's a lot more thinking and a lot more preparation, and then boom, like a snake. And then, you occasionally.
I have
but
literally got into situations and anybody who listens to this who does fencing can probably sympathise. There have been situations where I've been within attacking distance of my opponent. He's also within my attacking distance. I attack, he blocks, he attacks, I block, I attack, he blocks.
Yeah,
literally over and over. Five of those within less than 2 seconds.
yeah.
Because it's called a parry repulse, and when you get into one of those battles, it is tense.
Yes, very.
That's
Because the
when
moment
you
it's
need the separate
broken,
dagger.
Yeah,
That's it.
and besides, in one of those kind of battles, a quick flick of the wrist can
give you
completely
the edge.
throw the opponent off guard. Give you the edge. So that's why And to be fair, if I'm being completely fair about this, I reckon traditional Western fencing is one of the most boring sports to watch.
Oh, how do you differentiate traditional Western fencing to
different to kendo, that kind of stuff. But I'm talking foil, saber, epee here. The three normal weapons that fencers use. And to be fair, I've looked at quite a few games, and it's quite boring to watch. Though actually doing it is amazing.
Quite a rush.
It's amazing.
So you're saying that in games, it
Yeah,
sucks?
if you're on the sidelines,
If you're watching a game.
Oh, watching,
it will
yeah,
suck,
oh
but
yeah,
if you're
absolutely.
in it,
It's kind of
it'll
like
be a
the
rush.
football or
Yeah.
rugby, which is extraordinarily
Well,
homoerotic. Why would you want to just watch it? I want to play it.
Exactly.
You want to be in the middle of it.
Yes.
Yeah,
All these big, muscly, steroidy men. No, I
Talking
like
about-
the wrestling. I like football with the artwork with your feet. I love that. I don't want to sit there watching other people do it. Although sometimes I got to say they're amazing. But what I was saying was that with some martial arts, for example, Arnis, you do a lot more footwork, which I really enjoy because it's like a dance. And I also like that in fencing, things are very much point to point. Your attack has to be very artistic. Whereas in Arnis, yeah, there is that, of course, with everything there is. But if you get hit, it hurts.
Yeah.
It
I can
really
imagine.
hurts. You get stung. And I like that because that's an adrenaline rush, you know? And you learn very quickly. My speed increased by like 15 times between the first game and the second game that I did. This guy who literally went down and walked like a crab, his legs almost perpendicular, like a square out. And he could kick up to my face and put his foot back down
before he lost balance
faster than I could move my hand or react my body the first time round. And then the second time round, okay, I'm now ready for this. So
and then you'll kick to the face again.
And you get better very quickly. And I like that you can do anything. You can kick, you can punch, you can use your saber, your weapon. If there are multiple people, you can... What I really like to do is I like to attack people and hit them, say, in the hands, so that their arms are weak. And then I bend their arms around and use them as a shield. So then I use them on one side, and I can deal with people on my other side, and then sort of push that guy around. And the field changes very quickly. Because people move, they move around you, they move behind you. Footwork is very interesting, and I really like that. It's like a dance.
Well, if you hit the hands, it weakens their weapon if they have one too.
Yeah.
It doesn't make them weapon.
No, but I mean,
it's their grip.
Yeah, their grip.
I've had that on so many occasions where the other guy has been just that fraction quicker than me and has hit me in the hand, and my hand has gone numb.
Yeah.
I cannot feel.
Am I holding this enough?
Exactly.
I don't know.
I did not know. And what happened once?
No time to know.
I went to hit him, and I hit his stick, and the stick just flew out of my hand. I thought,
No, not time to. So yeah. Anyway, that's the EB Expo for me.
all right.
Chris,
so my turn.
What do you got?
Right. Well, let's keep on the theme of games, and let's do our first impressions.
Oh yeah, first impressions.
First impressions. I'm doing first impressions of Lord of the Rings Online, which I just downloaded 2 days ago. That'll be my guess. Which I think is quite fun. I've only just gotten into it. I think that I've just managed to equip my character with some shoes.
Shoes! It's a very long and arduous process in the game. You gotta sit down.
Into the game and you're walking around in the snow and the burning buildings and you're barefoot. It's like, and now I'm going to give you some cloth dwarf make shoes. I didn't have that before?
Why do I not have shoes?
No, you don't have shoes, you just have frostbite.
I'm playing a lore master, which I love my spellcaster classes. I really do. Especially minions. I like having a minion that goes out there and keeps them busy. And I'm a big fan of DOT. A very big fan of damage over time. How do you feel about that? DOT, effects that save can end. Things like that. I love that. Because it just means that you can mess with the enemy. Oh. Like in Guild Wars, I went Elementalist / Mesmer or Mesmer / Elementalist, because the fact that, you put a curse on an enemy. So every time that they attack, they take damage. And then you put another curse on the enemy. Every time they cast a spell, they take damage. Put another one, which is if they move, they take damage. I put another one, which is if they get close enough to me, they take damage. And so and AoE, so I put in hazards on the ground, and I love this because you can control the field, and I love that.
The environment.
So I'm not that far yet with my lore master, because at the moment I've got 3 spells. Summon Raven.
You now have steel leather boots.
No, I'm not allowed to wear that armor.
Oh.
I have cast Summon a Raven, a generic fire spell, and a DOT fire spell, and that's about it.
Generic fire spell number 4 or 5. Buy yours today.
Generic fire spell, fireball, or various combinations thereof. I think the only game that departs from that is Skyrim, where instead of getting a fireball, you get a flamethrower to start off with, which I think is awesome. What I did is I downloaded a mod called Magicka Sabers. I'm plugging Magicka Sabers because they're fun. So I had Magicka Sabers, and then I got lightning, and I went like, I am a Sith Lord. Nightingale armor.
Oh dear. See, whenever it comes to those kind of games where you're taking on opponents, I'm very much a fan of the either one move kill or the quick battle. Setting everything up beforehand and just rushing in, knifing a person in the back and taking them down before they can hit me.
I prefer to take someone down from long range. Sniper rifle, just bang.
Yeah, but in the old games, it's not possible.
Yeah.
Longbow.
Yeah.
Longbow, the medieval sniper rifle.
Pretty much.
No, actually, didn't Skyrim Fireball is the medieval sniper rifle.
True.
You stand back. Actually, no, that's the medieval missile launcher. You fire that thing and it's like, wait for it, boom!
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dead.
So would you recommend Lord of the Rings Online then?
Well, as much as I've played, I actually would.
So far you would.
I'm definitely going to keep playing it, and I actually think that it's a worthwhile game so far. What it does is it takes a lot from... I mean, it's very similar to World of Warcraft.
So, right, it's an RPG-esque.
Yeah, it's an RPG. I probably should have said that to begin with. It's an RPG, MMORPG, Mamorpaga.
It's a Mamorpaga!
It's a Mamorpaga. Anyway, so...
I'm not a huge fan of MMORPGs.
It's a lot like World of Warcraft, and the classes are similar to the ones in World of Warcraft, but World of Warcraft, of course, World of Warcraft you have to pay for a start. Lord of the Rings Online is free, which is great.
Sorry,
I really like that.
What? You say it's free, right?
Yeah.
But you can buy add-on content.
Yeah, you can
or
buy
stuff like
extra stuff. You can buy 2 other classes and 2 storylines, and you can buy a horse, I think, or the ability to ride horses.
But can you achieve that through playing the game, though?
Those particular ones, no, but that's the same as having DLC storylines, so that's fair, I think. Because
No, I mean like horses and stuff. Can you?
Yes, you can get mounts on your own.
Right,
And that raises a very
of.
valid point
Yeah.
that I want to raise right now.
Go ahead.
In games, if you have to pay money to get to the most
Get to a certain
powerful
point in the game.
thing,
Yeah.
like that you have an advantage over other players that is massively significant, I think that is ridiculously unfair. Like World of Warcraft, buying things is aesthetic. Everything that you can buy is aesthetic. And I really like that, because if you have a game, for example, a lot of these
Or
app
at least make
games,
make the game easier for you.
yeah, if you have to pay and make the game easy for you, that's fine. You know, that's fair. I'm happy
So like
to
you get a double EXP bonus
yeah,
or
something like that. You know, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
I'm happy to sit there and grind. You know,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Maybe some people aren't, so they pay money, they do it quicker.
Yeah.
That's fine. But if, say, you reach level 75 and you have to pay to unlock to level 80, and then and then the tier is 75 to 80, that's just
Yeah.
I mean,
I
come
find
on.
it
If I buy the
satisfying.
game, I want to have to the full functionality of the game.
What I find really satisfying is actually working through,
Yeah, I actually do
And
find that interesting.
earning what you get, instead of just saying, okay, here's $5, I want that horse.
Yeah,
You actually go through the
Yeah.
game and
that's
you
also
work
the risk
for it.
with console commands. The moment you know console commands, you're like, I could just type it in. Like I was getting so annoyed, I couldn't find any ebony ingots.
Oh,
and I knew that there were some in the College of Winterhold main quest line. And I thought, oh, I could do that. No, I'm gonna earn it. So I went through the whole damn storyline and I got those ebony ingots and I made myself some ebony armor.
Nice.
And then I forgot to make day joke.
Oh, well done.
No, I like ebony more. It looks nicer.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess I might as well talk about Dishonored now.
Yes.
Okay, so in case you're wondering, no, I have not played Dishonored all the way through.
I love the look of it.
I
looks
have
amazing.
I have barely played 20
It came-
minutes of the game.
It came out yesterday, didn't it?
Yeah, it came out yesterday, but I had no time to play it because
Uni.
university, exactly.
I'm really looking forward to getting and playing this game.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. Minus T-minus 1 year, right?
Yeah, wait till it comes down in price. Actually,
Yeah,
it's
but both
reasonably-
of these guys are cheapos, just saying.
No, but
Yeah,
it's-
I'm perfectly happy to play, especially for a single player game.
Yeah, true.
I saw it at JB Hi-Fi. There was an ad for it in the paper.
Oh, yeah?
JB Hi-Fi, $68.
That's actually really good.
I know.
Oh,
For a new release.
That
On
is really
Steam,
good.
it's 70
Yeah.
something.
I feel kinda silly
stores,
now.
In stores, it's 80 or something like that.
Yeah.
I've never
So
seen
down
anything
$20
beat
bucks.
Steam.
So down $20 on the day of its release.
Yeah, that's actually really
That's
good. Imagine
really, that's
how
quite good.
much they would get. Like, imagine how many people are going for them.
Yeah.
All the time. There's a whole bunch of people like us who are like, nah, I'm not going to get that on release day.
20
and then
bucks
all of a
off.
sudden, 20 bucks
What?
off. That's
Mine.
good.
Yeah.
Going.
Buying now!
You people are easily swayed. Anyway, so from what I've played from the first, 20 minutes of Dishonored, which was literally this morning, The art, I really do quite like the art style.
Pre-Universal Gaming.
Yeah, you know.
Just don't spoil anything.
I'm not going to spoil anything.
You probably haven't got to anything.
Yeah, I haven't actually really gotten there.
20 minutes.
Like, if anything I've discussed, you're going to discover in the first 20 minutes anyway.
What's the movement like?
Yeah,
it's
actually
WASD easy
yeah,
to
it's
use?
You've gotten through the tutorial.
I've gotten through the tutorial, yes. You know, I do quite like the sneaking mechanics. I also quite like the awareness mechanic. For example, guards have these little lightning markers above their heads, and what happens is
that's what those are.
Yeah. So say you make a noise, like I did this morning. I was sneaking. The guards couldn't see me, and I clanged my sword against a metal.
Deliberately?
Kind of deliberately. You know, I was just messing around. Yeah. So I just whacked the metal plate, and then all of a sudden, both the guards nearby. Two lightnings above their head, you know, two warnings, you know, they all of a sudden hear me. So, you know, it's nice to be able to know how alert the people around you are.
But also, in most games, you just have one alert marker, which is that one in the center of the screen, which is, you know, a little bit more and completely.
No, but
I like that, how it's per
guard.
Yeah, that's really useful.
And also, another thing, you know, some stealth games will have you know, you go into a corner which is kind of shadowy, you crouch, and no one can see you.
Or in the case of Skyrim with 100 Sneak and all the perks, you crouch in front of someone
and no one can see you. You know,
shoot them in the head and crouch, and they go, "Oh, what was that?"
Another.
I'm saying in Skyrim, it literally ended up to a situation where I had all the right upgrades. I stood in front of someone, crouched, walked around behind them, stabbed them in the back, instantly killed them. There's no real difficulty there. With Dishonored, you know, there was this point where the guards were chasing me. I went back on my original sneaking knowledge. Okay, darkness, crouch, corner, fine. The guard just killed me in 5 seconds. You know, he was just
it's a bit more realistic.
So yeah, it's a bit more realistic. You actually need to. I have noticed a bit of a problem with the game. Like in the first 20 minutes, there was this point where I was running away from guards, and I managed to get them clipping on each other so they wouldn't go away, or like, you know, because I managed to evade them pretty much, but they wouldn't go away. They would just stand there and just like kind of clipping out on the thing. So I guess that's a bit dodge. I'm not sure if they'll release a patch to fix that. Though the stealth mechanic is good. The combat mechanic is also quite good. You know,
So,
I've got a gun. I've had a gun for about 5 minutes. At the most, I've got 3 bullets.
what are you playing this on?
I'm playing this on PC, just to let everyone know. You know, some people really complain about on console graphics. If it's that much of a shame, get a PC version, because the PC version does look quite nice.
And another thing, from what I've seen on the trailers and stuff, you're running from rooftops and stuff.
Yeah.
Have you done any of that yet?
I haven't quite gotten from the running to rooftop bit, but I have gotten, like, you know, sneaking above people
and stuff.
Yeah, there is climbing.
How do you find the climbing mechanic? Is it
Compared
similar to
to
Assassin's Creed? Because on Assassin's Creed on the PC, you got to press like 3 separate keys in awkward positions and click and right click and sneeze twice before you can climb something.
With this on
For PS3, you just kind of press up.
Yeah, see, that's not the case with the PC. I've got to press forward, shift, and control or something.
Yeah.
And then direct. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, see,
because you need the mouse to look.
What Dishonored does is, you know, your main jump button is space, which is pretty useful. Yeah, and whenever you go up to, say, a place that you can actually go over, the little icon comes up, space, and you will just hop onto it.
Right.
So that's actually quite useful. And, you know, it doesn't take you that long to get used to it. Because, you know, for example, if there's a hand railing in front of you, some games will just be like, oh, you can't jump over the hand railing. You can't jump high enough to just go over it. Though the spacing will automatically come up, leap over the hand railing. You know, so you don't get stuck on terrain.
That's good.
So yeah, it's really quite good. And yes, knifing people in the neck is fun.
And bloody.
I think my highlight for the moment was the point where I dropped down on top of a prison guard's face and stabbed him.
Yeah. Is it as gory as it seems on the?
I think the trailers kind of emphasize it a bit much. If you're a bit squeamish,
I just see lots. Yeah. In the trailers, you just see blood everywhere.
It's just blood.
Let's paint the wall.
You're walking in blood.
See, the thing is, whilst killing an enemy can be a bit brutal, it's broken up often enough so that it doesn't come over. It doesn't come like blood everywhere kind of thing.
Now, one of the developers was saying that you can either go through the Dishonored and play it all bloody and kill everyone, or you can go through and kill no one.
Yes.
Have you experienced
That
anything
is
of that?
clever.
Because I really like that. I love how in Mass Effect 1 you don't have to kill anybody.
Do it on a
fair
purely
enough.
stealth aspect.
Do it on a stealth aspect. Do it on a maybe, I don't
Knock
know,
them out or
talking
something.
to
Yes.
talk to people.
In Dishonored, or one of the things, the game kind of gears you towards, the shank the guard from behind, take him out. Yeah, all that's quite good. Though there's also the aspect whereby the game does make it clear that you can also hold control to take out a guard unconsciously without killing him, which is good. And
What are the disadvantages to that?
They come after you.
the disadvantages to that is if you take out a guard using that method, he's effectively dead, as it were. He doesn't
So
get
he doesn't
back
come
up.
back?
He doesn't get back up and
Okay.
come after you. Though the disadvantage is A, it's harder because basically to do a completely
Silent takedown?
to do a completely no-kill run, you can't let any of the guards actually see you, because
Right.
otherwise you kind of have to fight them, and if you fight them, you're going to kill them. So in other words, it's very much more about stealth if you're trying to do a no-kill takedown.
Stop time and run away.
Yeah. So from what little I've played, the stealthing is quite brilliant, and if you're really looking for a challenge, or if you're looking for a challenge, or you're looking for a really good game where it's much more about stealthing rather than actual just straight bloody murder, Dishonored will please you, because apparently you can take out every enemy in the game without dropping a single bit of blood.
Yes, Chris.
What
He's
do
had
you
his
start
hand
out with?
waving for a significant amount of time.
Like, when you
I-
first get to play, what do you start out with?
I've just escaped from prison. I've got a first piece of equipment I picked up, a sword. Second piece of equipment I picked up, a pistol with one bullet in it.
So you can pick up anything the guards have. or-
Not really anything the guards have. I think it's a bit restricted than that because there are more swords around there, and the more pistols around there. I was only really able to pick up one. Apparently, the weapon arsenal does expand a bit. Though, from what I've heard about Dishonored, that's also kind of where it's a bit. Because apparently the weapons aren't quite as amazing as people were hoping.
Yeah, but think about it this way. I mean,
You're an assassin. How many weapons do you
variations
need?
of swords can you have?
True.
I mean,
And
this
especially
isn't
as an
something-
assassin, you want something small, ready to
Yeah,
go.
but this
just
isn't
bang.
like World of Warcraft, how if you've got a sword, you can have a sword that does this, or does this, or does a bonus to this, or is this type of sword, or has this kind of attack, so on and so forth. They're all different, completely different.
Yeah.
This is a lot more realistic, I assume, which a sword, it's a piece of metal, and you put it in someone, it disrupts blood flow and kills them.
Yep, pretty much.
So yeah, there's not
Stabby,
very many
stabby.
variations on a sharp piece of metal that you put inside a human.
It's stabbing time.
So, yeah.
I don't get angry, I get stabby.
Yeah. So once again, to be fair, I haven't even really finished the first level. I've pretty much gotten to the point where I've just escaped from a prison, and I think I'm pretty much close to the end of the first level. Though from what I see, Dishonored, it's pretty
It's a
much
game to
what
play.
it's a game to play. It's going to be one of those games that's like, if you're into this kind of stuff, you're going to love it.
Excellent. I'm really stoked for it then.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna get it.
Okay. So that's
Yeah, that's
All right.
Chris.
then.
What are you going on about now, Chris?
Firstly, warp
What
drive.
you want to rail?
I just quickly want to talk about the warp drive.
Oh yeah,
By the way,
NASA's
yeah,
Yeah.
old fellow everybody and humans.
everyone who has interest in this.
No, just everybody.
Everyone. Okay.
Everyone needs to know that
Starfleet
NASA
Academy
is
is
actually
open.
working on building a warp drive in that it distorts space by compressing it in front of it and elongating it behind the machine, which then propels this machine, hopefully
Or
strapped with a lot of
spaceship.
duct tape to a spaceship, through space.
I'd rather bolts, but
A
anyway.
lot of bolt. Come on, man. Duct tape for the
yeah.
win.
Glue.
So,
Super glue.
so traveling
Stuck
faster
my
than
hands
light,
together.
which is good because there is no method of conventional propulsion-based
Yeah.
system that can go faster. Like by definition, it is
So
impossible.
what you do is you bring space to you.
Exactly. We have to change the way we think about it, and instead of thinking about it in our usual push,
Push,
pull scenarios,
Yeah.
we need to think about it
And
as
space.
the other what are the other aspects of space-time that we can use, not just physical matter?
You know,
space-time.
what we can do is we have wormholes.
Yeah, but they're difficult
we don't,
because we
yeah,
have
we don't really
we don't have
there's two
a
real
lot,
methods.
if any. No, we don't have very much experimental data on wormholes.
Yeah,
I think
well,
that-
there's two
I
real
think
methods.
somebody
It's wormholes
created
or
tiny
bending space.
Yeah, bending
Really,
space.
there are two options.
Yeah.
The Stargates or warp drive.
Stargates and warp drives. Yeah.
I do have to say I'm really excited about this stuff though because it's
Finally, we can travel to other planets.
yeah,
Well,
finally we can
start on the way.
Yeah, that also sounds like it's going to be we're getting close to one of the next big jump in science.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
We're due for one.
Yes, we
Yeah.
are in fact.
when quantum physics came along, that was a big jump in science, and that led us to a whole lot of different things. Like I think quite a lot of modern medicine, like CAT scans and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They're directly resulting out of that a massive advance from science here to classical physics to quantum physics.
Hell, even microwaves.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff.
My neighbor is like,
Terminators,
but you
hooray!"
can't control light waves. Microwaves.
Yeah.
She goes, I don't use that because there's radiation in it.
There's radiation
Yes.
everywhere.
Light is
and
basically
she,
radiation.
And she
Light is
says this
radiation.
while eating a banana in full sunlight. Like, I'm not going to mention anything just in case.
Just you see him walking around in a
Did
full
you
hazmat
realize there's
suit.
not that much difference between light and gamma radiation?
You know, and although I probably shouldn't be saying this because her husband will watch this or may listen to
Well,
this.
now you just
because
narrowed
he's
it
kind
down
of a
to who it
nerd.
is.
Oh, well,
Oh, he'd pick up anyway.
we're definitely dead now.
No. Chris is dead. We're fine.
We're fine.
We'll have to replace him. Who else
but-
can we get in?
Everyone's being quite excited with physics at the moment because the discovery of the Higgs boson. Everyone's like, "Oh my goodness, it's the Higgs
The
boson!"
problem I find, though, is that not a lot of people actually understand it.
Yes,
They
I know.
think-
Some people are like,
Higgs boson. It's the God particle. It's the
Firstly,
particle
people
to end all
say that.
particles.
Yes,
God
It's like,
particle.
okay,
I'm
no,
what
it's
are
not.
you talking about? Firstly, where did God particle
It
idea
was
I
just kind
know-
of a stupid nickname
I
for
know
it.
where the God
Original
particle
style.
idea came from. If
First
you're
we
wondering,
tell.
if you're wondering why the Higgs boson is called the God particle,
Or
it's
referred to.
because it was actually called the God damn it particle because it was going to be so goddamn hard to find. So everyone's just like, it's the God particle, right? We're going to be gods now. No, it's just really freaking
and
hard
that's
to
the other
find.
point. There are people going, oh, it's the God particle. It's going to disprove God.
Yeah,
They're going, oh, it's going to
take the wrong
disprove
aspect
God.
of it.
It's like that. This is where did that come from?
Yeah.
Seriously.
As soon as
like,
I
what on earth are you talking
As
about?
soon as I really it started getting more press, I thought I got to find out more about this. And I actually read up on it all, and I now understand it. But
Yeah, sure.
other people just think, okay, they've discovered this particle. They're calling it the Higgs, the Higgs boson particle or the God particle,
the scientists aren't
But
calling
they
it the
don't
God particle.
or well, media and stuff.
Yeah, the
Kind
media.
of
Well,
are.
that's my point.
And that's
media
what
is calling it.
and
the
that's
God
what people are taking away from it. They're not really going into the science behind it.
No, and of course you've got
It's a
all the-
remarkable particle, yes, but
But it's only one of
it's-
the remarkable.
yes.
Yeah.
You know, we've
There are
also
many
got
other
the
cool
photon,
stuff.
which is also kind of cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
Photons are awesome.
Getting back to the original
Dark
point,
matter is
the
a whole different story.
the discovery of the Higgs boson was quite good because I was watching this program
Back
last.
to the warp drive.
I was watching this program last night where I say, if we haven't quite discovered it yet, we know it exists now. We're 100% sure it exists. Though if it's not quite like what we're expecting, then that means there's pretty much whole new branches of physics to open. And looking into warp drives, if we actually get some serious thinking power into this, who knows what will come out of it? People complain.
Well, a warp drive.
Yeah, hopefully a warp drive. But
We're not complaining about warp drives.
who knows what will come out of it? People complain, oh, where's my hoverboard? Where's my jetpack? This could be the start of that. This could be the start of those kind of technologies.
Jetpacks, I can buy a jetpack.
Well, yeah, but can you buy a jetpack and then fly to work?
I like those water jetpacks.
Not in the city, no, because in the
Egg.
city there's a no-fly zone.
Oh, well, true. But
Well, not including authorized helicopters.
What
it's
about beneath a
difficult.
certain height? What if you
That
just off the
comes
ground?
under the helicopter thing. No. You have to be above a certain limit.
oh, okay.
You can't be close to the ground.
Anyway, anything else you want to say about warp drives?
No. Actually, I think that kind of covers it.
What else do you... did you want to talk about something else? Because I mean, I think we've gone over an hour.
We have gone over an hour.
I mean, this was originally supposed to be a half-hour to 45-minute podcast.
Dear listeners, if you're still sticking with us, good on you.
Yes, you've made it this far. Achievement unlocked.
Bloop, bloop.
Bloop, bloop. For those who don't get that, it's a red vs. blue reference.
Yeah, okay.
We watch that.
Even though they don't sponsor us and they've never heard of us, I'm going to
Hooray.
plug Red vs. Blue because they're awesome. Red vs. Blue. Rooster Teeth, you've got to check them out. They're awesome.
This could be a preemptive sponsoring.
Yes, exactly. We can provoke them into sponsor
Please
us.
give us money.
We like you. Well, not sponsor us, just plug us.
Yeah.
Yes, plug us. Imagine if Red vs. Blue plugged us. How many people would be instantly?
We would be an instant hit.
Guys, let's keep it classy. Talk about sponsorship later. Mm-hmm.
Well, the problem is, this will never... Who knows? This might just stay flat.
True.
True.
Who cares?
Anyway, we're going to give this the best shot we possibly can.
Hey, it's an interesting conversation.
Hey, and I could listen to this again and again and again.
Really? I listened to it once.
Well, you're listening to it once now.
No, I'm not. I'm speaking it now.
Okay, fine.
I can listen to it once.
Well, I find I can listen to things over and over and over again because, the way this podcast is, or we're planning this podcast, is to kind of be like a radio station.
Yeah, exactly.
Or kind of a talkback radio station without much of the listeners talking back.
Sometimes we will have guests. We will
have guests and
who will
stuff like
come
that.
in and they'll contribute.
And also, if you guys who are listening to this have any ideas, about what kind of topics you want us to cover, what kind of stuff you want to see,
any questions you want to ask.
If you want to, any questions you want to ask, if you think the format could be better one way or another, if you prefer it longer, if you prefer it shorter,
more music.
Tell us. Tell us, and we will serve you.
We've got an email.
We have an email.
We set it up yesterday. We were so excited.
Yep, very cool.
We set up the channel and the email yesterday. We're so happy. Yeah. Anyway, so it's explosive combination, one word. Well, not one. Explosive combination as one word at gmail.com.
So to summarize, explosivecombination@gmail.com.
Yes. So no spaces.
No nothing, just that.
No nothing. It's something.
On to the final topic for today. I was going to discuss confidence.
I like it. And the lack thereof.
Because the reason I bring this up was I was on a few forums last night, and the typical question came up, which I think is a question that has eluded a certain type of man for a very long time. Why do girls only ever go for jerks? And
That's not true.
Just let him go.
And
I want to see where this is going.
There's a massive discussion about this, and a lot of people have the different answers and the different ideas. Though one of the big things that came up was the notion of confidence, that you need to have confidence in yourself to actually be attractive. And I was just wondering, what do you guys think about that? Do you think confidence is really essential human?
Well, firstly, I think that being attractive to a female is a lesser goal. That is something that you don't need to worry about. It's not something that you need to obsess over. I don't care. Unless you are intending to find a mate, that's a different story, because then you do need to start thinking about being attractive to a female. But generally, I think that is a lesser goal compared to just being confident for life, which I think is absolutely paramount.
Well, that'll eventually help you get
a mate.
As you so well.
Yes, he does
so well. There we go.
He does talk like this half the time.
No, all the time.
All the time.
Half the time. We only see him half the time. I assume
do you think confidence is more important than, say, actual ability? Like, if someone's confident about what they're doing versus the guy who actually knows how to do what he's doing really well, but maybe isn't quite as confident, that the kind of, I'm sure we've all experienced moments like this where, you're sitting down, you've gotten a question, you know how to do it, yet at the same time you've got that kneeling down. Oh, have I doing this wrong? Am I doing this right? Is this the right thing to do?
I sometimes find that niggling doubt being quite helpful because it allows you to go back and look over what you've done.
Like
especially in an exam situation. I mean, this is very kind of contained. But I mean, say if you have, just a really kind of out there example, but okay, not too far. Say a physicist comes up with a theory. If he's got some niggling doubts about it, he will investigate every single one of them until it narrows it down to what he thinks is most appropriate.
Because that's good scientific procedure, you know.
Yeah, so
always
the niggling
check
doubt
everything.
does help. It's good to have a little bit of doubt
But there's
until you've
also-
eliminated all doubts.
But there's also a difference between, say, insecurity and reasonable doubt. Because if you are confident and you don't really know what you're doing, you're just going to mess around. You can destroy everything.
Yeah.
If you do know what you're doing, but you are too personally insecure and you're not
To
personally
enact it,
confident
yeah.
to act upon it, that's different from just having doubts about the theory or having that
Yeah.
kind of that paranoia.
Well, the way
Yeah.
I'm talking about is I'm talking
Correction.
about a more scientific approach to
Yeah,
things.
which
We're
is
talking about
more-
more of
Yeah.
a social
Yeah,
what,
thing.
what I'm discussing here is more of you know, kind of the personal confidence. You know, the difference between a guy who goes out and is big and flamboyant and like talks to a lot of people, and the guy who, you know, is quite nice but is a bit more introspective. He's a bit more sit in the corner, think about things for a while.
That sounds familiar.
Well, the thing is that look, if
Don't know anybody like that.
If we are specifically talking about attractiveness as a human intending on either reproduction or love or mateship, something like that.
But
Well,
we're
it
not we're
varies
talking
from
about
person
content.
to person. I mean, some people find the person
But-
sitting alone more attractive
Yeah,
than
exactly.
the flamboyant buffoon in the corner, in the other corner.
If we're talking about
to-
that, if we're talking about attractiveness
Yeah.
to the sexually compatible other of our
Compatibility, yeah.
species, then I guess confidence helps, as in being confident in yourself. If you are a person who likes to sit in the corner quietly, which I am, I like to do that. I
I'm
don't
as well.
like to go and
Go
ass
on big
around
parties and
and,
stuff.
do all that kind of stuff. I don't, yeah, like
Big
those
parties
massive
just-
parties which just
yeah,
don't make
no.
sense. As
We're
in-
having a party. Why?
yeah, no. As in, I get invited to parties. Oh, we're having a party. I'm like, yes! And then they go, it's a drinking party. That's not a party! But anyway, if you're confident in what you are, that's
That
very
is
good.
important. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, because just because you are, say, a gamer...
Self-confidence. This is
self-confidence.
This is what this is.
You know how there's this typical sort of insecure gamer type of person? If you're a confident person and a gamer, the two are irrelevant.
Yeah.
They're absolutely irrelevant. So
It just happens
I
that you
think
enjoy it.
self-confidence is very important.
Oh, yeah.
Very important.
Just bringing up a bit of a personal thought of mine, I think one of the reasons people,
And
you know,
weaklings annoy me.
And what?
Weaklings annoy me.
I think some of the reasons why some of the people who, you know, really do get into video games and are also quite insecure about themselves, I think maybe that insecurity does come into part why they enjoy video games so much. I'm saying enjoying video games is fine. I'm directly linking video games to being an insecure shut-in. But what I'm saying is, you know, sometimes it becomes a bit more enjoyable to yourself if you kind of lose yourself because you are a bit insecure about yourself.
Yeah, adding on to that is, I think if you aren't as confident outside or in social situations, video games can be a source of escapism. And you go into them and you can be whoever you want. You don't really care. Like for a slightly extreme example, I play GTA San Andreas.
Yeah.
You can walk down the street and shoot someone in the face for no reason whatsoever.
And then
It's
you
complete escapism.
can take a hoe back to your pad.
Stop. No, but I mean, it's complete escapism. You can be whoever you want. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And there are no kind of repercussions from it,
Yeah.
or necessarily depending on the game, of course, or depends where you saved.
No.
Okay, two things. Firstly, I really like to immerse myself in worlds that are absolutely fantastical. So think
Yeah.
like science
Books
fiction.
and movies and
and in books. I like to completely immerse myself in these realities where, for example, you have floating pillars and these magnificent cities, things like that. I
Oh, yeah, that's
love
great.
that. And I love environments where there are problems for me to solve. And then when I solve them, things physically change or there's development in the world. I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
things like that. And I think Skyrim is lacking in that. My second point is that I don't like a lot of video games because I can't play a heavily armored knight that is also a mage, which I am in real life. I do martial arts, I'm strong, and I am very clever.
Well, you don't
And I
have
don't
magic.
like that. No,
I don't have
I'm
magic, but I
intelligent.
have my science. science.
Exactly. I'm good at science.
Science ball. Attack.
Yeah. See,
Blah.
that's actually one of the reasons why I quite like the aesthetic of a few JRPGs or Japanese games, because I find Western developers, they tend to go for the stereotypical.
They limit you so much.
They really go for the stereotypical. It's a medieval fantasy game where everything's stone castles and dragons look very gritty and dirty and it's all grungy. Well, some Japanese games, like there's this one called Xenoblade that I have, which is okay. Let me tell you the setting. You live on top of a giant statue, a colossus, if you will.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
That is caught in the middle of battle, is frozen in the middle of battle with another giant colossus. Your enemy lives on the other giant colossus. You live on your giant colossus. Your giant colossus is nice and lush and green. Your giant colossus is basically all about life. The enemy's giant colossus is basically really mechanical, cold, clinical, all sorts of stuff.
Engineering.
An engineering course in a university, if you will. Though it has some beautiful aesthetics. Like there's this one section where you're on the fallen arm of one of the colossuses, which is one of the colossi, which is turned into like a beach nation island thriving with life, and it's really spectacular and amazing. There are points in time where you get to this game where you just look out over the vista and you're just like, wow, and that kind of escapism is amazing.
The fact that this came from a human mind is just incredible.
It's brilliant. I kind of feel like going over there one time, just giving them a pencil and paper, just like draw me whatever.
Think of something, draw it.
Yeah.
Another thing I find, or from what I've seen of JRPGs and comparing them to Western RPGs, the main characters in Western tend to be bulkier
and darker.
And
Darker
darker, angrier.
Yeah.
Just generally more
these kind of
masculine.
Up.
But the Japanese RPGs go for something different.
I think they have their main characters,
and
they're slightly more feminine.
Yes, exactly. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
And see,
and that's quite a contrast.
It is quite a contrast, and sometimes I don't mind it. Sometimes I quite like the brooding hero because I think, for some situations that's kind of how I'd react. What, you're going to try and stab me? Try and stab me now, boink. Though for other times for other Japanese RPGs, I do like watching how a character develops over time to actually learn more about themselves. That said, there is still a tendency to go over some things like, the really, really whiny, weak main character. I don't want to go save the world. I don't want to have to fight people. Get over it, son.
And it's really annoying when you're controlling it and you're going, but no.
Yes,
just toughen up.
That is not what I do.
Yeah. There are points in time.
Well, it's an RPG. It's supposed to be immersed in the character.
There are points in time where that
I'm not that type of character.
There are points in time where that kind of like characterization actually does work, and there are other points in time where it's kind of like, not really. But getting back to the main topic of confidence, what are your guys' thoughts about it?
I reckon it's really important to have self-confidence.
Absolutely.
Try to build it up.
Any ideas on how people? Any ideas on how people should get more self-confidence then?
Step out of your comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah,
that's what I found. I had.
More.
Sorry.
You need to go explore more.
No, but I have been.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I am very introverted, and I tend to calculate my risks very carefully and think, okay, is this an acceptable risk? What'll happen?
Yeah, I know we're appearing on a podcast, but most of us here are actually quite introverted.
So
except for him.
Well, anyway, so I tend to stick to myself, but I've been trying to step out more outside of my comfort zone to try and, I suppose, get more self-confidence. So what you learn to do is you step out of your comfort zone. If it doesn't work, okay, move on. Try again. Try somewhere else. If it does work, that can be a huge boost to your self-confidence. And so then you've got a new threshold.
Yeah.
Or you keep practicing that same one, and then you build another one.
Well,
and you just slowly build on it.
Find, in a very practical way, that if you are, for example, in high school, I had one really, really good friend here in Australia.
Yeah.
I had one really, really good friend, and him and I just got along. We clicked. And then I had
Is it
another.
Sebastian?
No, this is David.
David.
Sebastian is uni. I don't know. We just
Right.
clicked. I mean, I'm going to be the best man at his wedding, apparently. Because why
It's already
not?
decided. You don't have a choice.
And the best man at my wedding, for the record, is a woman. Because I say so. Anyway.
Do you know who she is yet?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why he says so.
This is why I say.
It has been organized.
The wedding's been organised ahead of time.
Can I go?
No, just the best man.
Can I be
No,
the
but-
bridalmaid then?
Because having people around you that
No.
that do not click with you, that you do not understand.
Yeah.
Because most of the people in my high school were these kind of drinking people.
Yeah, you
and
don't.
that-
You don't click with them.
And it's not that I didn't have self-confidence, but there's
You don't
no,
want to associate yourself with them, really.
Well, at the time, I was thinking, oh, these guys are pretty cool. You know, like, oh, this is what the cool
I never
is.
saw that. I saw it as it was the cool,
Yeah,
but
that's
I
it.
do not want to
No,
be
I
this.
never wanted to be it.
Yeah.
But I did recognize them as the cool in
yeah.
the environment that I was in.
Quotation marks everywhere.
Yeah. You know, come on.
I need more quotation
You know what we're
marks.
talking about.
Yeah.
So, and in that case, it's not that I was insecure, but I didn't want to be part of it.
Yeah.
So I was very
That was
much-
very similar for
So
me
if
in
I
high school.
wasn't with David, or if I wasn't with my other group of friends, Ravi and co, I wouldn't even try to be part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I would
I
sit there
completely
and
understand.
I'm absolutely happy to sit on my own and draw and write, and if
And
not,
read a
just
book,
think. I'm absolutely happy to just sit there in silence and think if there is nothing that interests me around me.
Yeah.
And so that is not insecurity. And
That's just a preference.
That's
Yeah.
just a preference. So a lot of people think, though, that if somebody sits on their own, it is a sign of insecurity. Or it is a sign that they are
Of being
introverted and they don't...
uncool or something like
no,
that.
No, now
No.
just drop on uncool.
No, but
Yeah, I guess in
there's-
high school it was
yes,
uncool.
yeah,
but
that's where I'm coming from. Yeah.
This is
Now we're in
universal.
real life.
Coming from
Yeah,
high
yeah.
school.
now we're in real life, so we can drop that.
Yeah.
That is one thing I do like about uni.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of like-minded people.
Yes,
And they're readily accessible. I mean,
To-
for example,
But
the
also
three of
that
us.
something that is
Yeah.
amazing in uni is that the idea of you comes into it very, very sharply. All of a sudden in university, everybody wants to be them. Completely and utterly. And they want to completely be them. That's confidence. And I think that university very much builds confidence.
Yeah.
And also
So
the
if you're in
friend-
high
the kind
school,
of friendliness.
high school
Everything.
Yeah.
social aspects
Yeah,
Just wait.
suck.
Wait
Yeah,
for
it's
university.
weird.
If you're one of those kind of guys who you get along with a very particular kind of person, wait till university.
Yeah.
Just have a look around.
Just
don't do-
endure.
Yeah, but
Endure.
no, no,
You
no,
will
no.
survive.
There are things to do. For example,
Oh, yeah.
libraries run these sort of study work things. There are these places called hacker spaces, which are full of
Hackers.
Just no. It's not.
No, I'm
computer
just playing
hacking.
on
It's
the
like
term.
building stuff. They've got workshops. It's
Yeah.
workshops basically.
Yeah. There are
These-
also plenty of gaming
There are
places,
also
like
gaming
for example,
places.
Good Games.
Yeah.
They've got heaps of stuff running on in afternoons and
Yeah, and a lot
during
of those
weekends.
people are,
It's-
you know,
and they're usually like-minded.
yeah.
Well, in our respect, like-minded. They usually enjoy
Although
engineering
that
sciences.
said, there's a big difference. You know, once you actually get out of high school, there's a big difference between nerds.
Yeah.
Because you can have nerds which are kind of D&D nerds.
I prefer to
you
use the
can
term
have
geek.
Geek for what?
Just in place of
general?
how you're using nerd.
I
They can
do
be- they
believe
kind
So
of
there are different types of geeks.
kind of interchangeable.
they're the same thing in my
Apparently-
opinion.
No, apparently in America there's actually a big distinction between geek and nerd, but I don't really care.
But we're not
it's
America.
more.
We're not America.
It does not. It does not interest us.
No, because there's a difference between nerds. You'll have forensic biology nerds, you'll have
Yeah.
physicist nerds. So it depends what
And
you're
engineering
interested in.
nerds.
And engineering
which is
nerds.
And
basically
occasionally,
physicist
the
nerds.
three of them
Yes.
combined.
So yeah.
Engineering
Yeah.
scientists activate.
And then you've got philosophical nerds, which is the whole different story.
Yeah.
And there are art. Oh, I suppose
Um.
I kind of distinguish
Cartoons just
everything.
are all
Well, I kind
they
of
all know what they're doing.
I
so
kind of distinguish things into
you
two
could call them
categories.
nerds, but
Yeah.
There's art and there's science, but they mesh.
well, everything
That's-
is science.
And
Everything
and
is
everything
science.
is also art.
Yes,
So they mesh. Like
everything is part of reality.
Yeah, true.
It's all the same. You know, you've got green and you've got yellow, but actually they're the same thing.
Yeah, but some
There are
people prefer
colours.
more green to
More
yellow,
green
and
than yellow, yeah.
vice versa.
Yes, exactly. And green and yellow are definite points on an infinitely variable spectrum, but And even though it
Yeah.
is an infinitely variable spectrum, you can definitely say that green is not bulliness.
Yeah, I know. In my opinion, when it comes to self-confidence, like, yeah. You know, the kind of idea of self-confidence, because for quite a long time, I have not been a very confident person. You know, coming to university was great, because meeting like-minded people allows you to, you know, just shout out a lot more.
There's a place called the Electronic
You can-
Gamers Guild. I
Yeah.
mean, come on.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Which is infinitely
and you become
accepting,
more
pretty
comfortable
much.
with what you enjoy, and because other people enjoy it as well. It's
I find when building self-confidence, one of the best things to do is to kind of, you know,
mixed with people who
yeah,
are similar.
mix with people who are similar. Yeah, also take yourself less seriously.
Yeah, and be proud of what you do.
Yeah, because especially in a culture like ours, like in Australia, if you're listening to this from a different country, you may not understand completely, but Australia has very much what's called a tall poppy culture, where, you
I
know,
don't even know what that is.
No.
where what happens is it's a culture more focused around, other cultures apparently are more about like building each other up, so, you know, when someone does something good, it's like,
right, yeah.
oh yeah,
it's
you know,
more
yeah,
like
that was a
one
great
person.
idea, you know, great idea. Meanwhile, in Australian culture, it's more like, oh yeah, but you could have done this, or oh that was a stupid thing to do.
Yes,
Mate.
I know what you mean.
It's
How-
more like the
say-
best stands
say-
above the rest.
In,
Yeah.
in say America, they very much idolize the people in positions of power, whereas in Australia, people are very
Yeah, you know,
satirical of
it's-
pieces of people
in-
in power,
in
and
Aus-
that's
Well,
accepted.
At the
In
moment,
Australia,
the
it's-
people in power aren't that good.
Yeah,
I
but-
wouldn't think.
Yeah,
See, the
also
thing
that
is-
I think we can
position
get
kinda
better-
Sucks as well.
Yeah.
Well, I think we can get better people in power if we completely got rid of the government, brought in a new one.
Yeah, but
Get rid of the lies
the
and all
thing
the rubbish
is,
and
like,
darkness.
Seriously,
I-
gonna get the lies out of politics? You're kidding me, right?
I find
Distilling.
that
Put all the
Guys.
politicians in
Okay,
the
okay, hey.
speaker.
I find the best way to build self-confidence in like in a kind of society like that is to take yourself a bit less seriously.
Absolutely.
Because that way you're not as affected. Because, you know, I think
Make
everyone
fun of
goes through
yourself.
this at some point. I'm saying in high school,
Good
I
sense
was,
of humour.
in high school I was bullied for a very small amount of time.
You were blued?
Bullied.
Yeah,
Bullied.
I was bullied as well.
Oh,
That's cool.
I was kind of bullied, but not really.
Yeah, see,
You were the bully.
Our
but see,
bully was
the
kind
thing is,
The
you know,
neighbour's gay.
when people bully each other, they really prey off weakness, and they really prey off
Or what they see is
what they see as weakness, and what they see as, like, you know, your self-confidence. They kind of try and destroy it. But the idea is, if you take yourself a little less seriously, you can find yourself you know, being a lot more confident. So, you know, if you kind of acknowledge, oh yeah, I do like some pretty weird stuff, but that doesn't matter, you know.
But
none of that matters. I'm just going to go out and talk to people.
But it is hard.
Yeah, it is hard.
Hey,
We're no
getting
way
bullied
trying to make
sucks.
this. We're not trying to make this
I mean-
sound really easy. It is hard.
Yeah, trust
Absolutely.
me.
It takes a lot of work.
When I'm by myself, it is still a pain to go up and talk to people. It's amazing that I can do how long has this been going on for?
This has been going for nearly 2 hours.
Yeah,
I think.
it's amazing. It's amazing that I can sit down and speak for 2 hours. But when you're with friends, everything is
easy.
much better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, it's funny because a lot of people think, oh, I'm not tough enough to get through this. I'm not strong enough. But you know what? Every single human being is capable of A, you know, surviving the bullying, and B, the bullies are kind of dumb, just saying. They're once you...
Well, there's so many psychological aspects you can go into the
Yeah.
bullying
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
kind of
We'll
like-
stay away from them
We
just for the
could
moment.
do a whole episode on
you know,
how to deal
once
with
you
bullies.
realize
Maybe not, but
that
anyway.
yeah, but once you realize that the people bullying you are A, only human, and
Yeah.
B, utterly insignificant to you.
Yeah, especially compared to other people in your life.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
you've-
who will be in your life.
or who will be in your life. Because I've always had my goals, you know, like this is what I want to do. And so anything that was relevant to that didn't matter. And only the people that I care about are really, I think, the only people that I care about. They are the only people that are worth my
Yeah.
time because I care about them. I mean, I would happily spend hours chatting with you guys.
Yeah.
You just
You know,
have.
well, I just, yeah,
We just
have.
did. We just did.
So I'm happy to do that, but you know these other people, I don't give a damn. I mean, this other guy, I saw a guy from high school the other day, and I made the mistake of saying, "Oh, I didn't know you had a little sister." That was actually his super young girlfriend. Really weird.
Oh,
Don't
that's-
wanna- I know.
Yeah.
It was really
Anyway,
weird.
oh,
And I was like, "Oh, you look even more like a nerd," and I took this as a compliment,
thank you.
and I was like, "Oh, thank you. You know, you look good too." He's got kind of a beer gut, but anyway, and no, he does.
I
look
see
good.
you're
He's
putting
very
on a
muscly
nice-
though. He's
yeah,
very
very
muscly.
good.
He was like a bodybuilder kind of guy, very cool, and he was actually really nice. I don't know. We really didn't have bullies in my school here. Because
See, that's the thing. I'm saying to those who are listening in high school, you think bullies are going to exist pretty much all the time. When you get to university, you find out
You can avoid them easier.
Yeah.
There are
we
people
go
you
to
don't
we go.
There are people you don't like, and
but bullies die out because
Yeah.
at a certain point,
Well, I
you
suppose
just
if you're in a
there's a
confined
phrase
environment,
in
it'll
Spanish
Yeah.
called bolisha, which means that you don't not de da bolisha, which means not to put much weighting on it, not to pay attention,
Yeah.
right.
that kind of thing. So when you get to a certain stage, you just don't care anymore about the bullies, about people who say stupid things, because they're just saying stupid things. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
And if you're professional, then you just go on.
And besides, we go to a university of about, I've been told, 30,000 or so people. If you don't want to see someone,
It's
You
very
don't
easy
have
not to
it's
see them.
very easy not to see someone.
I'm saying back in school when, like, our school
Every
even had
single
2,000 people or so.
600 in mine.
But, you do meet up with people every day. In university, you don't you
no.
don't come in every day, you don't even come in half the time. Unless you're an engineer,
that's-
in which case you're there always.
Yeah,
Just
every
you
day of the
won't,
week.
And
you
if
won't
you're
escape.
doing engineering and science, you're there all the time.
You live at uni.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
But
much.
the thing is, you don't have to hang out with the people you
sleep
don't
in the
like.
lecture
You
halls.
you don't have to associate with the people you don't like.
And you can easily avoid them.
Yeah.
I
no
would
place
say
to go.
learning how to deal with people you don't like. How have friendly conversations. Engage with them.
Small
have-
talk.
Just
Small talk is infinitely valuable.
discussions.
It just is.
Yeah, discussions. Working together with
For me, it
people
tends to
you may
peter out
not.
quite quickly.
Working together with people you may not usually like. I do think that's an important skill, though.
Well, that'll come
You-
up in the workplace.
No, but it does come up in the
And throughout
workplace.
life,
So
yeah.
you should practice it. I think
True,
a bit
true.
more.
With your brother.
No,
Nah,
I don't have
But
that burden.
during university, if you find that you're getting tired of that, you can just go out, sit with people you like, and just have
Or
a
not sit
discussion.
with anyone.
Or
You
not
can
sit
just
with
go,
anyone. There are
pick
plenty
a
of
nice
s-
place
well,
with a
we've-
nice view, and boom, done.
Yeah, well, we found a nice place in one of our buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice just to
New
sit.
architectural building.
Anyway,
Anyway.
I do believe we should call a close to the end of our first
Yeah,
episode
so,
as Explosive Combination.
Yes, our very first episode, we should have had champagne.
We
And
should
just-
have had champagne.
Wait, no.
I found such an awesome white wine from the Bimbadgen Estate. That's not a free plug. However, they are awesome.
Anyway.
No, I can't say that without plugging them, damn it.
Yeah.
So,
I love these guys, they're really good.
yeah, we are Explosive Combination. I'm Chris.
I'm Chris.
I'm Luke.
And if you have any topics you want us to talk about or any questions you have to ask us,
Tell us, leave a comment,
Comment.
in
leave a
below.
comment in the question
Yeah.
below. We will
You'll probably be like
hopefully
the
read
only person there, so
yeah, first comment. Yay!
send us Gmail.
Send us an email.
Tell us what you think.
I
What
will
do you
Do you
like?
like
personally
it? Do you like this
the
link?
person
Do you
who
like
first.
it? Sure. Sorry.
Yeah.
I will personally like the person who first.
Yes.
Yes, we will like the people who first. Yes.
We will
We'll like our own
find you.
channel.
We will meet you, and we will say hello.
Well, depending on where you are, you might be kind of hard to get to.
Eventually.
So yes, that's our
That's it.
Explosive Combination podcast.
Number
for
one.
Number one.
Thank you very much
So-
for listening.
Yes, if
and
you've stuck with us for this long, we're sorry. We're sorry you had to persevere with this. Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll see you
Next
week on a new one
All right.
with
see
new
you.
topics and everything.
We are no longer podcast virgins.
Yeah! Bloop bloop! Okay, thank you everybody, and goodbye.